Good morning, everybody. You are listening to CMC Live on Hawk Live Radio. Again, my name is Prodigal, and you are listening to CMC Live on Hawk Live Radio. I apologize for the delay, but we are about to have a great show. Coming up in the next segment, we will be talking about the fall season and everything that's coming up with the events in Tampa Bay. I hope everyone had a great week so far. No complaints, just fun. My birthday is actually coming up on the 22nd, and I'm a Libra. And of course, for you guys who are Libras, we I have no idea what to do or where to go, so we shall see. But in the meantime, I will enjoy the relaxing weather and cool vibes. Last week we ended with some interesting topics and segment. So coming up, we're going to kick things off with what's popping in Tampa. But first, let's play some tunes. Listening to CMC Live on Hawk Live Radio, the official radio station for Hillsborough College here in Tampa, Florida. Welcome back to the show. With fall season coming in, there's tons of events and creative activities that you can be a part of. Halloween is just around the corner and our city is ready and prepped for it. I'll be reading from our homepage, visit tampabay.com, which they always advertise the cool events and spooky stuff to keep you guys entertained this month. Some things that I found on the website is that Strath Center is actually hosting a Ghost Brothers of Darkland County, and the selective dates are from October 15th through November 9th. And from there, they are actually it's like I don't know how to describe it, but it's like a haunted house with like a haunted cabin as well. So a haunted house and a haunted cabin with production around it. So it's so the setting is behind Darkland County, which is a chilling tale blending John Mendelkamp's bluesy country score with Stephen King's masterful storytelling about a young couple who discover a haunted cabin and uncover a violent, almost biblical story of love and rivalry between two brothers. In this eerie suspenseful production, it promises a spine-tingling experience just in time for spooky season. So if you guys are familiar with the Strad Center, that is something that you definitely need to check out. And then from the good old Cracker Country, I remember going out there when I was a little kid in middle school. They're actually doing a Tall Tales of Old Florida Country, and that starts on October 18th. And so you will explore Tampa's 19th century living history museum by night. And along the way, you'll meet different storytellers who will do a little wild spin about Florida's unexplained odds. It's a little scary, it's a little funny, but it's always family oriented. And so you guys can do the tour, which lasts approximately 60 minutes. The event is not recommended for children under 6 years old, so just make sure that you guys bring who you're supposed to bring. And the general pricing starts at $16 per person. So head out over to Cracker Country to check that out. And then we have the Haunted Factory Experience at J.C. Newman Cigar Factory. That is October 16th through the 18th. And you can step inside the historic cigar factory for some hunting like no other. For 3 nights only from October 16th through the 18th, you will unlock the different storytelling of the old sealed basement for the factory experience, where you can just check out different histories and stories, and as they say, dare to descend before the darkness is sealed away. And then last but not least, we have a night at the museum at the Tampa Bay History Center. That is on the 19th of October. And you get to experience a night of Halloween fun. Families can do trick or treat, meet costume characters, play games, enjoy crafts, and capture festive photo opportunities throughout the museum. You guys, this is nice. It's a nice blend of Halloween parties and everything as far as events for the kids and as well for the adults. And speaking of adults, we have the Haunted Pearl, an adult party. That is on the 18th and the 25th, and that is at the Lost Pearl. So it's at the Lost Pearl, and it's called the Haunted Pearl, an adult party. It is a 1.5 hour Halloween bash on the water. You get to dance to some beats in a costume contest and enjoy drinks and snacks. The tickets start at just $39, and costumes are highly encouraged for this epic night. So check that out at the Lost Pearl. And that's pretty much, it's a longer list, but that's pretty much to wrap it up for the visit TampaBay.com for what's popping in Tampa Bay. I try to do this every segment, every time that I come on here, so I can give you guys an insight of what Tampa's all about. So that is what's popping up in Tampa Bay. So coming up in the next segment, I will bring some heat with some Mistaken Love. But before we get back to that, it's time to take another break with some more great music. official radio station for Hillsborough College here in Tampa, Florida. Welcome back, everybody. I'm about to open up a segment called Mistaken Love. So like the stoplights on the intersection, stop, yield, and go. When it comes to our exes, it is a huge yield and a hard press stop. I take every ex, every lesson, and every tear as an experience. I don't see them much as a mistake, but rather a wake-up call. And when I tell you, I am beyond grateful for them, because at the end of the day, I chose to become higher than them. So I ask myself, do I see my exes as a mistake? To answer that question, I do not. I feel as though people come into your life in a certain season for a certain reason. And my previous relationship, I have learned that you can't give your all to somebody when they don't give themselves to you, if that makes sense. It's definitely a 50-50 relationship. One person can't be 70 and then you're over here being 20%. So I've learned that you can't hold them to a higher standard but then put yourself on a lower pedestal. So I looked up an article from verymindwell.com, and they hit on some points when it comes to your ex, and they stated that the partner who dumped you, they could still be the same person, and the reasons why you broke up with them may still hold true, or we may simply be thinking about reconciling for the wrong reasons. So for me, I'm a very forgiving person. I do believe that you should forgive a person regardless of what they have done to you. I don't believe in bitterness. I don't hold bitterness in my heart. I don't think that it's anything worthy of holding over someone's head. But then again, I do honor honesty, and I honor someone saying, hey, I understand what has happened and why this has happened, and because of what has happened, this is the end of the relationship. And so I really think that when it comes to just being honest, we sometimes fade it, or we try to make it an illusion, and it's not an illusion. You have to wake up and see that this is reality. Like, this is someone's life that you're playing with. You know what I'm saying? If you can spend so much money on this person and have so much compassion with this person and give yourself so much, how can I put it, credit, and again, lowering yourself, it's a heartbreak. It's a heartbreak, because at the end of it all, you're going to be left with nothing. So it's a really big lesson. And they also said that there are ways to stay inspired after a heartbreak. Give yourself some compassion. Remember ways that you can make yourself happy. Return to your hobbies and passion, and look ahead to a wonderful future. And so when it comes to me, and it comes to looking ahead to a wonderful future, I look to what I owe myself, and not so much of what I've lost. You always look at the gains versus the losses. And for me, I always look at my losses as my gains, because I would never think that I would love someone again. But just by that one heartbreak, it has opened many, many doors to a new life, a new breath, a new fragrance. So for everybody out there that's listening, just look ahead to a future and don't look back. And even if they do take you for everything that you've got, remember to always put yourself first. It's not much more so of mistaking yourself when it comes to love. It's having a seat at your own table and putting yourself first, so you can understand and realize and own that expectation of yourself. And when you do meet somebody that love you for you, you don't have to question it, and when it's right. So always remember that your exes are not a mistake, but rather a lesson, a great lesson, a lesson to keep yourself first, own what you've done, and take credit for your own doing, and vice versa. So that was my segment on mistaken in love. But remember, it's not mistake. It is not a mistake, but definitely a lesson. So you guys sit tight. Coming up in the next segment, I will be discussing some gossip tea. But before we get to that, it's time to take another break with some more music. Stick around, everybody. Again, you were listening to CMC Live on Hawk Radio Live, the official radio station for Hillsborough College here in Tampa, Florida. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. So, guys, it's about that time, y'all. Tea, and more tea. What's on our table today? There's a lot to uncover and talk about, but for now, let's crack open about the latest news, which is the famous Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck as they reunited on the red carpet Monday night, and as she dressed in their best and putting forward a friendly ex vibe, but maybe don't read too much into that. So the pair who split last year, they appeared together, arms around each other and smiling wide for the cameras on the red carpet for the new film Kiss of the Spider Woman. And they talk about how you're a fan of Jennifer Lopez and just seeing how the evolution of who she was as an artist. And so for me, I've always been a huge major Jennifer Lopez fan, and so my opinion when it comes to her relationships is it's simple. She's learning just like as we're learning, and I did a little research, and it's always just been her and her mom. It's always been her and her mom. And when you don't have a male figure in your life to hold that type of ground, it's more of, it's not that she's doing it purposely. It's more of a cry for help. So for me, I feel as though if people can recognize and see that it's more of I wouldn't necessarily say a sickness, but it's more of a cry, because she's a very subtle person. What I can say is most of the times when it comes to her relationships, it's always what they're putting out there, if that makes sense. Even when she was with Ben Affleck, or even with Mark Anthony, it's more of, and then as well as the as it goes back into the 90s, it's always what that person have done. You know what I'm saying? But it's more of, excuse me, what about her take on it? What about her opinion? Have any of these people asked her, why is it that she jumps in and out of relationships? And so, sorry guys, I'm having a little dryness of my throat here. I'm sorry, but bottom line, when it comes to Jennifer Lopez, it's all about respect, and it's all about seeing how she is individually as a person. For me personally, I've seen her at her happiest when she was with Mark Anthony, and I believe that when she stopped being with Mark Anthony and seeing how that has unraveled, she lost herself, and you think about it, those are that's my kid's father, and you see that he's entertaining someone else and being with another woman, not purposely. I mean, obviously people will change and relationships will go and come, but it's like, dang, like if I stayed with him, I would have had that family, so for Jennifer, hey, listen, I'm not the one to judge. You're actually one of my favorites, which is why I'm speaking so highly of you, so for me, girl, you are fine. Just keep going, keep learning, and keep evolving. And so another interesting story I saw from the article that I read was on the show The Voice. Snoop Dogg comforts a contestant after they receive a no chair turn. It hit home for me because I've been dealing with competition against the world's clock, but after reading this, I realized that every loss is a lesson. So during Tuesday's episode, which was October 7th, of The Voice, Myra Tran grew emotional after she auditioned to Clean Bandit Symphony and received no chair turns. But Snoop Dogg came to the rescue. He said, "Myra, Myra on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? The song sounded good. It's just not what I'm looking for." And so after the audition was done, he said, "But I think you did a great job performing it, and you have the skill set to actually be great." And so it really applied to me and how I continue to hype myself up and give myself credit because I've done great thus far. I work as a CNA. I do my own personal radio show here at Hillsborough College from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. And then I also have my own show for class, which is on Tuesday, and that is from 11 to 12 noon as well. So it's great because people don't look so much on what's going out on the outside. They look at what you're doing now, on the outside. Okay, you're going to work. Okay, you're at work. You're going to school. Okay, you're at school. No, like I'm doing a lot. And just imagine if I had 3 other different classes on top of what I'm doing right now, which I don't. I only have 2, which is this one as well as my intro to broadcast. But still, to have your own personal radio show on Thursday, to have your own show on Tuesday, with other classmates. And then on top of that, I'm on a very, very high demanding job from Monday through Friday and then every other weekend. And, obviously, some days off in between. It's a lot. So you have to give yourself credit because at the end of the day, if you don't see yourself doing more for yourself and clapping for yourself, it's not going to give yourself any justice because at the end of the day, the arena, the stadium will be alone. We will be alone. You will feel alone because you're not used to clapping for yourself. So, hey, continue to hype yourself up. And he added, you made them all proud today. And it takes a lot to come up here as a performer. So you made your family proud. You made your country proud. Sometimes it's just not all about winning. Sometimes that L is a lesson. It's not a loss, it's a lesson. So that tied into what I was saying about mistaken love. Like, man, if people would realize that with behind every loss there is a lesson. I'm telling you, it is not the end of the world. It is not a shutdown. It's more it's more about an open door. So, just to read that and tie that into the other story, it's a great experience, and I even look at where I'm at now in life, and it's hard being an adult out here. So looking at, you have this person who has this and you have this person who has that, whether it's a house or car or family with kid, hey, I don't try to rush it. I try to go at my own pace. Like right now, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm trying to look for a car now. It's not that it's out of my control. I just recently bought a car, 2,500. I gave them my money and I got sold a lemon. It's out of my control. I worked hard for that money. And so now it's deciding on whether I want to do car payments or do I want to do a cash car. And so I've been blessed to even drive. I was recently in a hit and run accident January of this year, and to be here talking, it's a great thing. So when I say every loss, because think about it, if I tried to keep the car and put money into it, it wouldn't be much of use because it had electrical issues. It has things going on with the engine itself, and it definitely opened my eyes. So when I say every L is a lesson, it's not a loss, it is a lesson. So again, Snoop, that means a lot as a student, and it has encouraged me to keep going and take every closed door for a reason. So when I say take it and own it, it's really good. So coming up in the next segment is Vent 101, but before we get to that, it's time to take another break with some more great music. Again, you are listening to CMC Live on Hawk Radio Live, the official radio station for Hillsborough College here in Tampa, Florida. So right now, I'm just going to vent to you guys. In this segment, I don't try to be harsh. Not on one topic. I try to be myself, which is obviously what we're all trying to aim for. And so Vent 101 is just simple. I'm just venting about how life is and how life is going right now in my life. So wow, that's a good question. How life is going? Well, like I said, I am taking two classes, intro to broadcast and as well as radio and television. I have a show every Tuesday from 11 to 12. I have a show every Thursday from 11 to 12. I work as a CNA Monday through Friday, and of course in between you take breaks, and then every other weekend. I do not have any kids. I am in a blessed relationship. That person actually has a son, so my son is definitely a blessing, and my family is definitely a blessing. Emotionally, I am slow. I say slow because I'm taking my time. I realize that I pace fast a lot, and I try to do so much at one time. So when I say that my emotions are slow, it's not like slow as in like a mental thing. It's just slow as in like when I tell you, like, I am taking my time, even with the car, even with trying to catch up on everything, like where I was then versus now. What I can definitely say is a wake up call, not only for myself, but for others, because with them looking at me and then me looking at them, it's okay. It's okay to slow down and to not race against the world's clock. And so what I hope to change with this week or month, I want to change my financial stability. I can definitely say, being in a relationship, you try to do all these extracurricular things, and you want to get this and you want to get that, but bills have to be paid, and bills, it never stops. So when I tell you, pace yourself, and I've learned that, again, you have to put yourself first. So what I hope in this month is to grab a hold of that financial gain. And even when it comes to my car, I don't know whether or not I'm getting a car payment. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've called around and they've said, okay, you can put this much down and you can get the car. But as I'm talking now, and I'm talking about bills and everything that's happening, it's like, dang, do I really want a car payment as well as car insurance? And listen, so if I do have to go that route, hopefully, prayerfully, I can, gain my credit how I want to, which I know I will. It's not a question. There's no doubt about it. So it's refreshing to see how much you've changed as a person. Not more so of because of who's around you, but because of what you've gone thus far. And if I had to highlight my title when it comes to my life so far, it's definitely redemption, because I've redeemed myself so much. Compared to where I've been, I've grown a lot. And so to come back even stronger and even harder, it's a blissful thing. So Vent 101 is not more so about the sad things and the happy things. It's about changing and evolving, and about seeing how much you change as an individual. And I hope you guys can just take time to give yourselves a pat on the back, because you've made it. And so when I look back over my life, I realize that it's not just about what I've been through and about where I've been. It's about where I'm going. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little segment called Vent 101. It's not long, it's short, it's straight to the point, and it's simple. You're venting about life and how it is thus far. And so coming up in the next segment, I will be wrapping things up. But before I get to that, I'm just going to talk to you guys about what's coming up in my next show next week. And so, guys, we are coming back with some more great hits. Stay tuned. Again, you're listening to CMC Live on Hawk Radio Live, the official radio station for Hillsborough College here in Tampa, Florida. So guys, we had an amazing show. I really enjoyed talking to you guys. So coming up next week, I'm just going to, again, with the what's popping in Tampa, I'll always try to do that every segment that I have. I also, with the Vent 101, also venting about how life is going that thus far that week. And then I do want to give a talk about music and how much it has changed over the years. I for me, when it comes to music and how it's changed, I grew up around older generation, so mostly growing up it was Marvin Gaye and the Supremes, and you have Gladys Knight and the Pips, so I'm my mind is still stuck in that era, so it would be very fun to talk about music, and so I definitely want to talk about music next week, as well as gossip. It's never ending when it comes to gossip and what's happening in the entertainment world. I also want to, if it's still happening, about the global US shutdown, and because I have a lot of family members who are in the service. My brother is actually serving in the Army right now, and he's affected, and I know someone else who's very close to me, and she was affected as well. So I definitely want to dive into that, and just from the outside looking in, how it crushes me to see that happening. And so it's a variety of stuff. CMC Live is just not a one alley road, it's definitely different avenues and different routes that I like to talk about. And I am here from 11 to 12 noon, bringing you a variety of topics, fun vibes, and highlights to bring your day. Next week, like I said, I will uncover some diverse topics, world trends, and more when it comes to music, the entertainment industry, what's happening in Tampa, gossip. So again, guys, it has been a blessed time to be here with you guys, and I pray that you have a great weekend. Remember, for those who are not more so of a fall person, bundled up. Keep yourself bundled, because if you get cold quick, hey, it's coming around. Winter is soon going to be in effect, and then for those who love it, hey, enjoy it. I'm definitely enjoying it. So everybody stay blessed and see you soon. Take care.